Hello out there. How you doing today? Uh, I'm doing this video because here lately I've been hearing a lot of stuff about a drug that is currently being pushed by the administration as a possible cure to the COVID-19 or coronavirus. The drug in question is hydroxychloroquine. Um, I'm the sort of person that I like to do my homework before I go taking anything. And I learned some interesting stuff in checking this out. For starters, knowing Donald Trump the way I do, I know that he is driven by one force and one force only, and that is the almighty dollar. So, when I started this by asking the question, how does this drug benefit Donald John Trump? And the answer was real simple. You see, it's public knowledge or public information as to who owns stock in what companies. So Trump can't sue the company for releasing that information because by law they have to. And Trump is a major stockholder in the company that manufactures hydrochloroquine, also known as Plaquenil. Okay? So that answered that question. But the next question is, could he actually be right? So I started doing some research into the drug itself. And I went to pdr.net, which is the Physician's Desk reference. For those of you who don't know what the Physician's Desk reference is, it lists every drug out there. It lists what it's for, how it's used, how it's administered, what not to administer it on, and so on and so forth. What are its side effects? It gives a ton of information about any drug out there. That's where I learned that this hydrochloroquine is also known as Plaquenil. Okay. The Physician's Desk reference tells me that Plaquenil is an antimalarial drug. That means it's used to fight malaria. Okay. So what is malaria? What causes malaria? We know that malaria is a disease that's transmitted by mosquito bites. So it's bloodborne. Okay. But what else do we know? Not a whole lot. I'm not a doctor. I will admit that wholeheartedly. But I did go to a website called ada.com because on there it gave answers to these kinds of questions. And on the website, one of the questions that it has is malaria a virus? Their answer was no, malaria is not caused by a virus or bacteria. It is caused by a parasite known as Plasmodium. Okay, so we're dealing with a parasite, not a virus. Now some of you might be saying, well, what's the difference? Okay. The difference is this. Parasites actually have a brain and a central nervous system. They are creatures. Microscopic creatures oftentimes, but not always. For example, some known parasites, commonly known, are things like the hookworm, scabies mite, dust mite, roundworm, flatworm blood fluke, and tapeworm. And that's just to name a few. I didn't want to get into any of the scientific names that were out there because that would just confuse people. So I want to keep it simple. But you'll notice in each and every one of those, we're talking about a creature, a living entity. A virus does not have a brain. It does not have a central nervous system. I actually have some pictures here. The parasite that causes malaria looks like this. Whoops, got it upside down. Okay. It's this worm-like thing here. Whoops. Trying to do this here. It's this worm-like thing here. That's the parasite. Okay. Meanwhile, the coronavirus, this is an artist's rendition on a scientific journal. That's what the coronavirus looks like. And as you can see, they do a cutaway there to show its core. A coronavirus responds to its immediate surroundings. That's what a virus does. It's reactionary. A parasite doesn't respond to its surroundings in as much as it can think and plan out and act accordingly. So the question now becomes, is an antimalarial drug going to work on a virus? The answer is no. Any of you that have done hunting know good and well that the method you use to kill a squirrel is not going to work on a moose. Those of you who haven't done hunting and don't know this need to go back to school, because you can look at the two and tell you can kill a squirrel with a rock. Try killing a moose with a rock. It ain't going to work. Trust me. I know. Not from personal experience. Just want to make that clear. But it's not going to work. So that's what you're doing when you're propagating this lie of Donald Trump's, that this drug is going to work. You're trying to kill a moose with a rock. The coronavirus is a completely different entity. You can't kill it the same way you do a parasite. For those of you that are actually out there pushing your doctors to give you this drug, let me ask you this. Would you take your car to be worked on by Sam the barman? Probably not. You'd probably want to take your car to be worked on by a mechanic, like Al. So why then are you going to the village idiot to get your medical advice? I've spoken with several of Trump's fellow students in high school. He got a D minus, or a D, as his highest grade in biology. And he completely failed chemistry. And this is in high school. So he never even picked up on the basics of this stuff. That's why Mr. Azar had to keep reminding him to stay on topic with this coronavirus briefing back in February. And the videos are out there where he says this. Folks, we need to go to the medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, the scientists. They went to school for upwards of 8, 10, 12 years to get their doctorates. And that's over and above high school. Donald Trump doesn't hold even an associate's degree in anything remotely related to the medical field. Stop listening to him. He is going to get you killed so that his pocket gets fatter. Be smart. Do what you need to protect yourself.